So we have Noah in our scene, and I want to do some sort of animation with him. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to my view where I can see everything, and I'm going to go ahead and place Noah in his starting point. And so for me, that's going to depend a little bit on the camera. And I think what I'm going to have happen is I'm going to have Noah do a couple of hops forward, and then the there we go. And then after that, the axe hops out and looks around, and Noah gets scared and maybe flies away. Right? So I'm going to do just 2 little hops, and then the box will open up, and we'll see what's inside. Now I do want to be able to see Noah a little bit, and this is one of the reasons we have our camera set up, is because from this angle I can't really see him. So I'm going to have him kind of hop in from over here, right? Maybe a little bit more like this. Okay, so that's where I'm probably going to start him at. Let me see, like, kind of maybe starts from over here and hops in. Okay, so let's talk about animating Noah. Once I have this placement control here, we need to go ahead and start animating Noah. And so you remember the way that we had to select all of our controls on the axe, we created this button. Well, that was just to select 4 controls. Look how many controls Noah has. And this is one of the reasons that we animate this way, is because animating with a rig is really complicated. Like, it is very easy to lose track of what you're doing, get confused. So we're going to create a selection set that allows us to start setting key poses with Noah. And so luckily, all of that is already ready to go for us. And you'll notice over in your outliner, I've made these special sets, and this was part of how the character was rigged. And if you expand this out, you'll see all set or control set. And the control set is what we're looking for. And so if I expand that open, all of these are the different controls that can be animated with Noah. Okay, so I want to make a button for those. Again, I'm going to open this up, edit, clear all, and I can choose, let's do this hip swinger first, and then go all the way back up to the top, and choose the top one on the control set, shift, click, that selects everything. And so those 2 lines there will select all of Noah's controls. So again, I select all of that, click this button, and I'll say Noah all, and hit OK. It is a Mel script. And now I have a Noah all button. And I can always come back to this set if I want to. Now recognize that this set is a special thing that has been created for this rig. This is not going to be in every rig that you find. So you have to find a way to be able to select all of the controls in order to do the pose-to-pose method. Now, how I animate Noah is going to be very similar to how I animated that axe. And what I would say is that the assignment for you all is to animate Noah moving around. I just want you to play with this. I want you to try to come up with something fun. There are some specifications within the assignment of what has to be done, but it doesn't always have to be with Noah. So the big thing is to have fun. Play with this. Make it what you want it to be. I would say that a walk cycle or a run cycle, recognize that we're going to do that in Project 3, and that's pretty complicated. You're welcome to try it, but you may want Noah to fly in. For me, I want Noah to do 2 little hops over here. And so I'm just going to start off the process of blocking that in. But for the most part, the animation process is going to be similar to what I did with the axe. Pose to pose, then I offset stuff, and then I do any polish inside of the graph editor. So Noah, I'm going to select everything. And the first thing I want to do is just hit S to get a keyframe in there on everything. And I'm going to put Noah in a more interesting pose, right? It's his birthday, right? And he's curious about what's in this box. So I'm fix his legs a little bit and make him a little bit more interested. And then I have him like kind of leaning forward and looking over this way a little bit more. It's a little too far there. Yeah, there we go. So now that we have this pose as our starting pose, well, you know what? I'm also going to do just a little bit of a wing back like this. And so now that we have this as our starting pose, and maybe maybe I'll open up his bottom jaw a little bit. Like he's surprised, and then we're also going to do just a little bit of a squint there, right? So make sure everything has a keyframe on it, and then I want Noah to do like a little bit of a squash and then a jump over that way, right? And so the camera's moving, so I'm going to have him squash forward, hit this, and so again I'm keyframing all of the controls, right? Think of it as doing a drawing, and so I might squash him down, squash this down a little bit, rotate down, pull back his wings a little bit more, translate this up. I may go ahead and have him continue to look, but I'm going to go ahead and blink his eyes all the way. All right. So this is my squash pose. And then for the jump, and I want him to land over here, so I don't always have to do the next pose next. So maybe I'll have him on frame 40 land over here somewhere. And again, I'm not going to grab this placement controller to move that. I'm going to grab this controller and his 2 feet controllers, and then I can slide him over to, ooh, I'll probably want to do world motion for this. So hold down W and go to world mode. And now I can slide the whole thing here, something like this. And so this may be his land pose. It does like a little hop over there. That's maybe a little too, let's try 35. And then I can alter this pose just a little bit. And maybe with I messed something up there. No, hit S on that. Yeah, I think that's messed up. Go ahead and delete that. There we go. So everything should be keyed there. And so now I can do the other version of this, like the up in the air version of this. So again, Noah up in the air. Again, rotate this back. Maybe this foot is still doing something like this. I'm going to go ahead and put his feet in stretchy mode, just because I like the stretchy mode. And that way, if I decide I want to stretch this foot back, I can. Doesn't feel quite like halfway in between, does it? It feels like he's forward a little faster. So let's go ahead and grab. And of course, we'll want to tumble around and look at him from all sides here. Yeah, that's much better. And so for each of these, from the ground up to here, just like the squash and stretch of the ball, we'll need a keyframe that shows Noah pushing off the ground. And so I'll make sure I get keyframes on all of these really quick. So I'm going to go forward like 2 frames after here. I'm actually just going to copy that keyframe. And then I'm going to, whoa, I don't want to do that. Control Z. I keep doing that. I keep trying to move my camera. So I'm going to lock this camera. We can do that just by clicking this. That way I don't accidentally move it and mess up my camera animation. Yeah, so let's do that again. So middle mouse drag that to there, hit S. And so what I really want to do is stretch Noah in that direction. Go back to object mode, push him up. And I gotta go back into stretchy mode again for these feet. I can actually do it for both of them at the same time. Select them both, stretchy. And so now with this, I can actually push him way up like this if I wanted to. Right? And I could flap his arms down. Right? Maybe on this previous pose, we raise them up like this. And that way when he goes down, he's flapping his arms, right? And I may go ahead and pull one of these legs up just a little bit. Something like this. And maybe even rolling this angle forward a little bit. So again, thinking like this like a drawing, right? I'm doing a drawing and I want to make sure that the drawing is perfect, right? Before I move on to the next one. Because ideally what will happen, select all, yes, ideally what will happen is I can use the greater than less than keys to sort of step through my animation and see what it's going to look like. So again, before we hit the ground here, I'll want to go ahead and do like a little bit of a stretch pose too. Maybe I pull Noah up a little higher. Go ahead and make sure that these feet are in stretchy mode. And I'm actually going to, just with the feet selected, I'm going to go ahead and middle mouse drag back to here. And that way they're both already on the ground there. And then I can turn on the stretchy mode. And so you see that I basically stole some information about where they were on the landing from the next pose, right? And so I can continue to drag and maybe even do a little bit of squash and stretch in the body. Have them continue to look down here at this. That wing is still up in the air. And it's kind of funny looking. Let's try that. Right. Noah. And so, let's see what this looks like. Yeah, it's not bad. So it still needs lots of work, and I'll be honest, watching somebody else animate is pretty boring. So I'm not going to make you do that. I will continue to work on this, and I'll show you my version of it in the actual project, so you'll be able to see what the final thing is. But really, after we're done with Noah, really at that point, we're just ready to render. And that's what I'm trying to get to. We'll just continue to work on this throughout the week until we run out of time and we need to go ahead and start rendering. So hopefully I'll have a version of this that looks pretty good that I can include with the final piece. So continue to just play with it. Again, the point of animating with Noah is just practice with another rig. So have fun with this part. Like, make sure you are checking off all of the requirements of the project. But the biggest thing is to have fun playing with this little character and telling a story. And I'm probably going to have him do another jump before that. That way the axe will scare him and then he'll fly away. So